Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us on this lovely Monday morning. It's September 21st of 2015 and here are today's top stories. And today's Thailand Moves Forward, the Prime Minister has chaired the official opening of the government's event that is aimed to promote the collaboration within the civil society to boost grassroots economy. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha chaired the official opening of the Saan Palang Pracharat Pheur Setthakit Than Rak, an event aimed to show the government's push to promote grassroots economy. The Prime Minister also announced the state efforts to execute all strategies to help reinvigorate grassroots economy through the unification of power of the public sector, the business sector, and the government sector towards sustainable development. The Prime Minister said that the new policy focuses the efforts to help farmers, laborers, local communities, and the whole country achieve security in life through the interaction and the exchange of knowledge, which can lead to changes and economic and social development. He went on to say that if the people are stronger, the country will stand ready for any change in the world. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has reiterated that the government and the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, are both dedicated towards working for the benefit of the country. He has asked the Thai people to reduce existing conflicts by expressing constructive ideas. The Prime Minister and head of the NCPO addressed the nation during the Return Happiness to the People weekly broadcast and stated that the government is now in the process of considering candidates for the Constitution Drafting Committee and the National Reform Council. General Prayut has tasked the Cabinet with selecting qualified candidates from various sectors. This would also include government officials, as they are already familiar with the system. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has asked the Thai people to unite despite differing opinions and accept one another's differences. He asked the Thai people to also express constructive ideas in order to move the country forward. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed his support for artificial rainmaking by all royal rainmaking units nationwide to increase rainfall in areas in the northern part of the country. The government spokesperson, Major General Sansern Kaew said all 9 rainmaking units were preparing to conduct artificial rainfalls due to prolonged drought this year. Despite heavy rains recently, the water levels of the main dams are still lower than last year, since the rains have fallen in areas below the dams. The situation might affect next year's water supply, said the spokesman. The Royal Rainmaking Department said it will closely monitor the weather conditions and carefully plan rainmaking operations. Major General Sansern added that Prime Minister Prayut had given his moral support to all dedicated rainmaking officers whose hard work has helped save the country from the drought crisis. A Deputy Prime Minister has expressed doubt over calls for the shortening of the time frame for the roadmap implementation in hopes of moving forward the election date. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Kruangam said that the planned setting of a 6-month period for the drafting of the new constitution has been an initial idea to have more time to work. Mr. Wisanu added that after all organic laws are put into effect, all political parties will be demanded to set up new parties in order to create a level ground for all. He expects Thailand to take another month before the process to prepare for the election, which should happen between March and June 2018, to begin. Mr. Wisanu's comments were made during a speech on the government's and the National Council for Peace and Order's roadmap delivered at the annual meeting of the National Legislative Assembly in Pattaya. The Deputy Prime Minister also commented that the suggested shortening of the implementation of the roadmap from the initial 20-month period is difficult and should depend on how much all related agencies and bodies will be able to speed up their work. Under the roadmap, the new government should be set up by July 2016, after which the current cabinet and the NCPO will leave office. The National Legislative Assembly has scheduled a few more days to deliberate a number of draft laws. NLA President Phonphet Vichit Cholachai has issued an order calling for a sitting on September 24th and 25th. The urgent agenda during the upcoming sessions is the deliberation of 4 draft laws. The laws that will be brought up for the NLA to review include the draft amendment to the Criminal Code, the draft law on the executive branch measures to prevent and clamp down on corruption, the draft amendment to the Ministerial and Departments Regulations, and the draft amendment to the Public Organisation Act. Turning to our next story, Bangkok Governor Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan Boripat launched Bangkok Car Free Day 2015 at Sanam Luang in another effort to reduce the number of cars in the capital and encourage Bangkok people to use public transport and also bicycles. The event is held annually by the BMA in cooperation with 70 networking organizations to change Bangkokians' behavior from using personal cars to public transportation, which can nowadays link with railway and water routes. The promotion of alternative transports was aimed at creating sustainable ways of communication, transportation in the capital city of Thailand. This year's Bangkok Car Free Day was participated by over 30,000 cyclists, beginning their 8-kilometer-long journey around Ratanakosin Island from Wat Phra That, passing through the Bangkok National Museum, Phra Athit Road, Ratchdamneun Klang Road, Democracy Monument Roundabout, Tanaw Road, Bamrung Mueang Road, Sanam Chai, the Grand Royal Palace, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, and concluding the journey at Sanam Luang. Along the cycling route from the Grand Palace to Wat Phra That, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration held several activities free of charge, such as health checkups, occupational training, distribution of tree saplings around Ratanakosin Island, extreme biking show, and mini concerts by famous singers. There are also numerous booths selling a wide range of products for visitors along the roads. The northern province of Uthai Thani held a campaign promoting farming techniques based on His Majesty the King's sufficiency economy philosophy. Participants in the campaign pitched their ideas of how to raise their farms using the sufficiency economy philosophy. A total of 63 individuals won the pitching contest, which was divided into the professional and amateur categories, both at the district and provincial levels. The Provincial Administrative Office of Uthai Thani revealed that the program aims at developing agricultural occupations and improve skills of local agriculturists. The office deemed that by integrating the sufficiency economy principle of His Majesty the King into farming methods, farmers would be able to deal with chronic poverty issues while reducing environmental pollution. Smog from Sumatra wildfire looming over Phuket has begun to dissipate. The province's air quality is now at moderate level. Following reports of reducing number of bushfires in Indonesia, the haze hovering Phuket skies has begun to die down. The PM10 reading of the area is no longer at an alarming level, indicating significant improvement in the overall situation of the past couple of weeks. Officials credited the improving situation to the weakening southwesterly monsoon covering the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. They also expect the haze condition to continue to improve in the provinces of Phang Nga, Krabi, and Surat Thani. Meanwhile, the PM10 readings in the provinces of Yala, Narathiwat, Satun, and Pattani are between 65 and 91 micrograms per cubic meter, which is indicative of moderate air quality level. Well, we'll now take a short break. Coming up next, we have international news for you, so stay right here on Newsline.
maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fourth core value: seeking direct and indirect knowledge and education.
How could you do that to me? Stop it!
Huh?
Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Now to ASEAN News. Transport Minister Akom Termpittayapaisit has advised related agencies to use the strategic location and cultural uniqueness of Udon Thani to develop the province. During the inauguration ceremony of the new international passenger terminal of Udon Thani Airport, Mr. Akom commented that concerned agencies should work together to ready the city for the arrival of ASEAN Economic Community. One of his suggestions was developing Udon Thani Airport into a culture-promoting airport. Mr. Akom said the airport should open a platform for artists and youngsters to display their talents and skills. With the addition of the 8,500 square meter terminal, Udon Thani Airport can serve as many as 1,200 passengers per hour and 48 round-trip flights per day. According to the minister, Udon Thani has the potential to be a trade and tourism hub of the upper northeast, thanks to numerous advantages, including a variety of tourist attractions, complete transport infrastructure, and proximity to the special economic zone in Nong Khai province and the capital city of Laos. The Office of Industrial Economics, or OIE, is in support of the Indian market penetration, saying the nation has a great investment potential. According to OIE Deputy Director General Sirinut Junkarat, Thai investors should do well in India's plastic beads, chemical products, latex, electrical appliances, electronics, auto and auto parts markets, given that India has a great number of manufacturers in automobile, information technology, and construction industries, all of which need materials that Thai investors can provide. The OIE suggested that Thai business operators focus on electronic parts and auto parts, recommending forming partnerships with their Indian counterparts as the most viable approach. Export from Thailand to India was valued at 5.6 billion baht last year. The office is also of the view that Thailand would become the world's third largest economy by the year 2028, thanks to its population and solid industrial support policy. The Department of Children and Youth has launched a special venture of ASEAN +3 Youth to boost ASEAN readiness. The project is running from the 17th till the 21st of September 2015. At the opening ceremony, Miss Rarintip Sirorat, Director General of the Department of Children and Youth, said that it was the intention of the government to prepare Thai youth for the advent of the ASEAN Economic Community in late 2015. Therefore, the ASEAN +3 project, Youth Social Contributors for a Caring and Sharing Community, was launched to strengthen the participation of the young in understanding social responsibilities and activities.
So it's a main citizens of the countries, and in the future they will be the good citizen of the country. So we will have to, of course, we have to bring them to be the model for other children and youth in the country also.
The project is intended to help build an ASEAN youth network to organize activities addressing the importance of a proper contribution to society and to promote a mutual understanding amongst children, youths, and other contributors of this social requirement. At the same time, it offers an opportunity to Thai youths to share and appreciate the different dimensions of ASEAN readiness. The event has proved highly interesting to over 100 participants who have come from the ASEAN +3 communities. Activities are being undertaken in both Bangkok and other provinces. Ms. Rarintip also pointed out that the Department of Children and Youth, or DCY, as a national focal point, is very pleased to support the learning activities of the young people. In other news, Greek leftist Alexis Tsipras stormed back into office with an unexpectedly decisive election victory on Sunday, claiming a clear mandate to steer Greece's battered economy to recovery. The vote ensured Europe's most outspoken leftist leader would remain Greece's dominant political figure, despite having been abandoned by party radicals last month after he caved in to demands for austerity to win a bailout from the Eurozone. In a victory speech to cheering crowds in the central Athens Square, he promised a new phase of stability in the country that has held 5 general elections in 6 years, saying his mandate would now see him through a full term. He made no specific reference to the €85 billion bailout, but Syriza campaigned on a pledge to implement it, while promising also to introduce measures to protect vulnerable groups from some aspects of the deal. Tsipras' first task after forming a government will be to persuade European Union lenders enough agreed steps have been made to ensure the next payment. The bailout program is due for review next month. Raul Castro sat down for a private meeting with Pope Francis on Sunday during the pontiff's visit to the Caribbean island. The meeting took place at the Palace of the Revolution in Havana. Delegations from both the Vatican and Havana were present at the meeting, including Cuba's Vice President Miguel Diaz-Canel. After the first Latin American pope arrived in Cuba on Saturday, Cuban President Raul Castro thanked him for his help in fomenting a diplomatic rapprochement with the United States after more than half a century of hostilities. Castro, in a welcome speech at Havana Airport after Pope Francis' touchdown from Italy, also condemned the U.S. trade embargo on Cuba and occupation of the Guantanamo naval base on the eastern tip of the Caribbean island. Early on Sunday, Francis delivered a mass in Havana's Revolution Square and met with Raul Castro's brother, Fidel, who provisionally handed over power to his younger brother in 2006. 2 years later, Raul Castro formally took over as Cuba's president. Pope Francis gave Castro several of his official papal writings, as well as 2 books on spirituality and a book and CD on the writings of Father Armando Lorente, a Jesuit priest who taught Castro in high school. Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson said on Sunday that Muslims were unfit to be president of the United States, arguing their faith was inconsistent with American principles. Carson, a retired neurosurgeon who has been near the top of opinion polls for the crowded field of Republican candidates, said he thought a U.S. president's faith should be consistent with the Constitution. Asked if he thought Islam met his bar, Carson said, "No, I do not." Carson gave up some ground in a CNN ORC poll released on Sunday, slipping to third place from second with 14% of support. 16 Republicans are seeking the party's nomination for the U.S. presidential election in November 2016. The CNN ORC poll showed real estate mogul Donald Trump continues to lead the Republican contest with the support of 24% of registered voters, down from 32% in a previous poll. Formerly Hewlett-Packard chief executive Carly Fiorina surged into second place with 15% support. A race in the Philippines on Saturday gave participants a taste of what it's like to be in a street protest with mobs, barricades, and riot police. Hundreds of participants ran along a 2-kilometer field of State University in Manila, climbing over wooden barricades, crawling under barbed wire, and crossing muddy slopes while attempting to dodge mobs of mock policemen and rioters in a protest-inspired race. Smoke machines and water cannons were used to distract the runners, simulating violent dispersal scenarios commonly used by authorities. While mobs cannot physically hurt the runners with their batons or machete props, they can take the flags attached at the belt of the runners to arrest them. Participants were out of the race if their 3 flags signifying their rights and freedom are taken by the mobs. Interesting race indeed. The leaders of the U.S. and China are set to meet next Friday in Washington in a much-anticipated meeting, which is bound to hit headlines. But in China's Guangzhou city, Xiao Ziguo is hoping to hit the silver screen as a low-ranking gangster who looks like President Barack Obama. Xiao does not need much makeup to look like the American president, and the similarities are not just skin deep. Xiao says his birthday is only 1 day apart from Obama's, and they also share the same blood type, which some people believe shape one's personality. When asked how he would host Xi if he were the real Obama, Mr. Xiao said he would announce they are close like brothers. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Well, simply type in NNT or have a look at our website. That is thainews.prd.go.th/en. Today, we end the program taking you to the Oktoberfest with thousands of Oktoberfest visitors attending the traditional parade on Sunday, which marks the second day of the 16-day party. I'm Chalapan Narula. Thank you very much for spending part of your day with us. Sawasdee ka.